My name is Scott. I want to talk about something that's been bothering me for the past couple months in regards to Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. Um, just absolutely pissing me off. And most of it comes from Seth's writing direction and generally just the direction that they've been taking his character lately. I think he's a great heel. I really do think that he's an exemplary heel, especially with this recent turn at SummerSlam Night 1 main event where he cashed in his briefcase. But it's setting things up for more Raw shenanigans versus the two that I'm not really looking forward to as a fan of both wrestlers. If you're not familiar with their feud, I personally believe that they professionally started feuding when CM Punk returned after 8 years of absence for the WWE company at Survivor Series. That's a very famous moment. That was a huge, huge pop. And generally one of the craziest moments in wrestling. At Survivor Series, Seth was fuming. Like, very clearly, he was upset when CM Punk came back. He didn't think that he was a good person, did not agree with him on and off stage. He said himself that he does not like Phil, the person of Phil Brooks. And that is, again, an unprofessional relationship, and that is their own personal beef that is not involved with the soap opera that is WWE, the scripting, etc., etc. However, with how emotional he got and how he felt quote-unquote disrespected by the fact he wasn't told by higher-ups that this was even happening, it kind of sparked some ideas in the creative field. In 2019, things started to spiral a little bit more when they started fighting personally on Twitter with stuff like this. And it just became a cesspool of personal digs, and it sort of reminds me of a lackluster version of Drew versus Punk. Repetition in AEW was something that Seth did not agree with, and he believes, and has been quoted to say many times, that CM Punk is a cancer to the WWE company.
Bill, stay away, you cancer. Get away from me forever.
I mean, he really was just a cancer to my career for many years while he was gone. He an intentional one, you know what I mean? He was a parasite.
Now, that's an interesting take to have. That's an interesting way to phrase things. He made it very, very clear that he did not like CM Punk many, many, many times. And not only did he not like CM Punk, but he didn't like Phil Brooks. This isn't something I'm criticizing. This is where a lot of good content comes from. I have no problem with that timeline of events. I think that Seth calling him this and that and the other thing and being hypocritical to the fact that he split up the Shield, which CM Punk helped create and helped him find his stardom in WWE from being Tyler Black, and just this general bubble of hypocrisy that Seth Rollins found himself in all the time. I'm not mad at that. I thought that that was cool if they did something with it, which they didn't. Raw on Netflix. Cool, great. They have them fighting, main event, it's awesome. Seth loses. It's great. Awesome. Yeah, good. They really had something going there. They had some steam. They were picking up the pace, and I was waiting. You know, Seth heel turn, obviously, he's a heel. He's gonna be a heel. And that really shined through when Paul Heyman betrayed both Roman and Punk. That was very unexpected and was definitely a stab to the back at a very personal level, writing-wise, to Punk. And I think that could have worked very well for a motivation for Punk's hatred towards Seth. Because I know that Punk doesn't like Seth because Seth doesn't like Punk. That makes sense. That's how people work. However, I found he didn't have much motivation because Seth was, you know, just someone under his boots. He was somebody who he didn't see eye to eye with, and he didn't feel like giving time of day to, because why would he? They had a lot of really good things going for them, where they could have written Seth to be this guy who's this total hypocrite, this total freak show, who's just going on these tangents. He sounds like a broken record, and Punk just doesn't fight much against it. He's, he physically fights against it, but in the ring, with his mic skills, he is very capable of tearing somebody apart, and for Seth, why would he put extra effort into tearing him apart, right? I feel like it would have made more sense to have Seth have almost a breaking point where it was proven that maybe guilt or some sort of other underlying character flaw or trait or regret ate him up and he just snapped. That would have been sick. I think that if he was called out more on what happened, which Punk did call him out for being a hypocrite and for doing all this shit, talking about this is what you betrayed, like, everyone. You are not a trustworthy person. And he knows that. But to be humbled a little bit more on the nose, to the point, nail in the coffin, like straight through the heart type of way, things could have been more interesting if, he didn't take it well. And if instead of shrugging it off and being like, CM Punk's a cancer, CM Punk's a cancer, I hate CM Punk, he shouldn't be this company, instead of just saying the same things over and over again, he could have had a more interesting direction. I'm mad at that. The reason I say all of this is because Punk just got the World Heavyweight Championship in SummerSlam against Gunther and immediately lost it to Seth's cash-in. I think that was a very cool plot twist. I don't care if people say they could see it coming. I think it was very interesting to make a work that looked that real. I was convinced that my favorite was out for a couple months. He talked about interviews. It's the same knee he injured a long time ago, 10 years ago. Like, obviously, it's a point of concern. And so it was very cool what he did as a heel there. Like, I'm invested in this group that he has, this faction that he has going on that doesn't even have a name yet. But I feel like he should have cashed in on John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, no? Why would he cash in on CM Punk, who he just had this huge feud with that everyone's fairly tired of, especially considering what I've mentioned before, where it was heated, and then Raw came to Netflix, and things became repetitive, things became tired, things became unmotivated and drawn out. Even with the new faction, things got boring. And boring isn't what you want to be when it comes to something like this. I don't know how I feel about this. I think that it would have made more sense for them to go in a direction that wasn't against CM Punk. Again, it just feels underwhelming. I'm not excited for Raw. I'm not excited for Raw after SummerSlam. How crazy is that to say? I'm like #1 Seth fan in the world. I love this guy, okay? I love how much of a bastard he is. I love that he's just a troll. I love all this stupid stuff. I love his crazy outfits. I love his custom chain. I'm a sucker for him. Not to mention, he is, I think, a very talented wrestler. Not as talented as some other, again, talent in the company. He's very much been pushed by Triple H and by the people in the back, which it does make sense as to why he hates CM Punk. Because CM Punk stands against that corporate, because frankly, he's the star of the show right now. Everyone loves CM Punk. Like, loves him. But, man, he's a controversial guy. And Seth is the exact opposite. He is, a workhorse. He's always ready to go. He just loves the big guys. He hugs them. He loves them. there's bound to be some sparks flying between those two different kinds of people. And again, that's interesting. I don't want to sound like the broken record Seth has sounded like lately, but it just becomes redundant. And I'm tired of it, frankly. And I don't want more. I really don't. It's over. It should be over. It's not over. It should be. I wish that they capitalized a more interesting character for Seth other than what he is right now. I know he's got the laugh and the outfits and the this and the that, and he's a troll and he hates Punk and he says, die, 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 Punk. I'm thrown in the hat. It's hard enough to be a fan of both of these wrestlers as it is. And I'm not trying to say I'd want them to stop just so that I can be a fan of both of them at the same time. I can do that either way. I don't care. I like them both for the characters that they are. Yeah. At the end of the day, I love professional wrestling, despite its shortcomings. I love this guy. I really do. I love Seth Rollins a lot. I think his history and I think his character and what he has been in his portrayals before is just so cool and interesting. And I wish that they'd stop butchering both Seth in his character and Punk in his opportunities. It's frustrating. I still don't forgive Seth for Elimination Chamber. That was crazy. But I just wish that they did something. So those are my closing thoughts. Let me know what you think if you're into wrestling. Please. Please